Liv Morgan's epic run is continuing in a major way, and she's affecting plenty of storylines, so we'll see everything that's new with her. Liv Morgan made herself the focal point of the Judgment Day related matters, and basically made herself one of the biggest focal points of Raw. She's literally around the entire show from start to finish, and popping up several times. Liv's first impact on the show was her care package of gifts to Dominik Mysterio and the Judgment Day. The group was seen with a new big television in their locker room, a PS5 that they were playing WWE 2K24 on, and even had catering as well. When Damian Priest asked what all this new stuff was about, Dominik said it was all gifts from Liv Morgan. And right on cue, Liv Morgan sends Dominik a text that surprises the entire Judgment Day. Damian Priest says it's going to be a difficult conversation to explain to Rhea Ripley how Liv Morgan got his number, and assuming that Dominik Mysterio is being truthful and didn't give him his number to Liv Morgan, that's gotta mean one thing. Liv has an accomplice within the Judgment Day, and it's most likely Finn Balor. Finn and Liv have been constantly seen together very quietly in the background of the current Judgment Day chaos, and it looks like that's exactly how she got Dominik's number, through Finn Balor giving it to her. Finn has had so many suspicious moments up until this point, from being in the car alone with Liv Morgan, to stealing the hotel card, to now being the prime suspect for being the individual who leaked Dominik's number to Liv Morgan. So there's no question about it. Finn Balor is responsible for giving Liv Morgan's number to stir the pot even more. Liv later invites Dominik out to the ring to give him another gift in front of everyone, but she instead gets confronted by Zelina Vega. Zelina talks herself into getting a world title match at Money in the Bank against Liv Morgan, and says it'll be easy to dethrone her since she's so occupied with Dominik Mysterio. Dominik eventually comes out to claim that he didn't enjoy the gifts, and he wants to help Zelina Vega become champion, because anyone being champion besides Liv Morgan is what he wants. Until Rhea is back, of course. Liv Morgan eventually attacks Zelina Vega, leading towards Rey Mysterio to come out and break things up by picking up Liv Morgan. And this is where we get another major story moment. Dominik turns to his father, Rey Mysterio, and brutally shoves him to the ground. In reality, Dominik did this because he can't stand his father, and he was going to do that no matter what. But in Liv's eyes, she saw it as Dominik standing up to his father on her behalf. So she had the ultimate look of gratitude and appreciation on her face when that moment happened. So she followed Dominik all the way to the back and hugged him for it, even though he had his arms up and didn't fully accept the hug. And that's when Liv just keeps on going and started affecting other storylines. Liv bumps into R-Truth backstage, and through manipulation and R-Truth even believing that Liv was Carmella, Liv was able to trick R-Truth into giving the Judgment Day a tag team titles match in the main event of Raw. Liv was also seen and busted by Damian Priest coming out of the Judgment Day locker room, with only Finn Balor being inside the locker room at the time. Once again, heavily hinting that Finn Balor is wrapped around Liv's finger and is her big informant / accomplice. That leads to the big main event tag team titles match, where it seemed like R-Truth was actually going to put the Judgment Day away all on his own. But Liv Morgan steps up to distract Truth and throws his neck down on the rope, leading to Finn Balor to take advantage and win the match and the tag team titles, making Liv Morgan fully responsible for the fact that the World Tag Team titles have returned to the Judgment Day. And this could have been the endgame of Liv and Finn's quiet plan this entire time. Everything between Liv and Finn's partnership has been happening behind closed doors, so we don't know the specific details of their plan, but it's more than clear that they're working together. Finn most likely gave Liv Morgan Dominik's number and other information in exchange for her helping the Judgment Day get the tag team titles back. And everything went perfectly according to plan. And what's happening here appears to be that Liv Morgan is slowly winning the entire Judgment Day group over. At first, talking to Liv Morgan, or even being in the same room as Liv, was basically looked at as being forbidden by the group, because obviously what she did to Rhea Ripley. But as time goes on, that narrative is quickly fading away. The Judgment Day as a whole continues to actually get closer and closer to Liv Morgan as the weeks go by. Like Carlito said in the backstage segment, Liv helped him so much win his match a few weeks back, so she's cool in his books. And now, she was the sole reason that Finn and JD won the tag team titles. They even posed with her on the stage at the end of the show. So we can assume that she's naturally going to be pretty cool in their books as well because of that. So that's 3 Judgment Day members that Liv has converted to being on her side. Only 2 left being Dominik and Damian Priest that aren't fully on her side yet. Damian Priest appears to be the only member left that shares the original view that the Judgment Day shouldn't be talking to Liv Morgan in any way at all. You got Dominik too that's verbally saying he's against Liv Morgan, but with all the constant temptation that she's throwing his way, it's safe to assume that Dominik is on the fence, but about to jump over to Liv's side most likely. And it's such an evil plan, because at that point, the majority of the Judgment Day will be on Liv's side, outnumbering Damian's feelings, and potentially even outruling whatever he says. And by that point, with nearly the whole group by her side, we can only assume that the Judgment Day will officially be welcoming in Liv Morgan as a member at that point. Liv made it known earlier in the year that she was going on a revenge tour against Rhea Ripley, but no one expected it to be this magnitude that this current plan is heading. By the end of the story, Liv might have stolen Rhea's title, her man, and her entire Judgment Day faction. Even though Damian and Rhea had a power struggle for leadership of the group at times, Rhea was always presented a bit more as the 1A of the group to Damian's 1B. So if Liv gains control and gains membership of the Judgment Day, it'll technically be yet again something else that she stole directly from Rhea Ripley, which of course sets up an extremely sympathetic babyface return for Rhea Ripley, because everything that was once hers would have been completely and wrongfully stolen from her by the time she gets back. And speaking of Rhea Ripley, there's been some updated reports regarding her return. Fightful claims that the hope is that Rhea Ripley could return sometime this summer, either in the weeks leading up to SummerSlam or at SummerSlam itself. There's no word on if it'll be a fully active and competing role or just a non-active role just to get her back on television. But either way, it looks like this summer season is the rumored time frame for Rhea's return. So we could already be just a few short weeks away from Rhea Ripley's return and seeing how she'll handle her own revenge tour on Liv Morgan. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.